Hello, and welcome to episode 228 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. How's it going? Good to see you. It's October 14th, 2020. We're going to be hacking on some Firefox stuff today. I hope it goes smoothly. We'll see. This is the second episode from a new location. The internet hopefully will hold out. The lighting is a little bit different maybe than what you're used to, but it's okay. We're going to get through it together. We're going to figure it out. So yes, let's without further ado, let's get into things. Here is my screen. Here's today's agenda. A reminder, no plan survives breakfast, especially in times like these where I think I know what I want to do. I have a plan of the things I want to tackle today, but it might not go smoothly. It might not go according to plan. For example, right now, I'm supposed to be streaming to Air Mozilla 3, the new version of Air Mozilla, but it's not actually working correctly right now, or at least it doesn't appear to be, at least on my end. So that wasn't part of the plan, but we're pushing through, and we'll see how it works. And I'm going to be working with our support team in the background, Andy, who's been really, really helpful throughout all of this transition. I'll be working with him in the background to see if we can get it up and running. But in the meantime, I'm going to be hacking on stuff and hopefully broadcasting to Twitch and YouTube. Hopefully that's working, because I've set up my Nginx restreamer system that I used to use way back in the day whenever we were using Air Mozilla 1. And I've set that up again for this particular use case. So where am I going with that? Yeah, things can go horribly wrong, and that's okay. We're capturing software development in the raw. A dog might start knocking on the door and I have to let him in. Who knows what'll happen? So that's one thing. The second thing is that the agenda that we're looking at is something that you have access to. If you're watching this on Air Mozilla 3, I have actually no idea where you get this agenda. I don't know where the handouts are. I haven't figured that out yet. So look around. Hopefully it's the right link. It might not be. I'll do my best. If you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully it's in the video description. And if you're watching this on Twitch, well, I just realized now that I don't have the Twitch chat open, so I'm going to have to open up the Twitch chat right now so I can drop this in. 1 second. Twitch, we go to the page. I'm going to open up the Twitch chat. We're going to switch to non-mod settings, pop out the chat, so there's all that happening. And then close that because I don't want to open up a black hole. And here is the agenda. All right. So that's the agenda. You can click on all of these links. I want to point out there is an episode guide if you're watching this in the future and you want to know what happened during this episode, or you want to know what happened in past episodes or other episodes, you can check out the episode guide, which is completely viewer driven by viewers just like you who send pull requests to the repository to add their own notes, addenda, corrections, etc. And it's really, really great. Special shout out to Smurf D, who is a prolific contributor to the episode guide. I'm not sure if Smurf D is in the chat room today, but just in case, thank you, Smurf D. What are we doing today? Today, Pandemic Edition. Yeah, I'm hoping that the Wi-Fi holds out. The new Air Mozilla may or may not be working anymore. Apparently, there's an error message on the Panopto media server. They're investigating, but I'm using the old repeater. Let's see how this all works out. Fingers crossed it goes somewhat smoothly. What do I want to work on today? Well, actually, the first thing I want to do isn't really like Firefox source code related, but it is performance related. So one of the things that I'm hoping to focus on, or one of the things that we've been focusing on over the past couple of months, hopefully you've noticed if you've been watching the stream, is that we've been trying to improve startup times. And that means making incremental improvements to increase efficiency, like shaving off a couple of milliseconds here, a couple of milliseconds there, and slowly we've been trying to improve startup time. And we're trying to show a comparison video now between two different releases. In this case, we're comparing Firefox 72 to the latest release. And I actually was able to generate a comparison video, which I can show you right now. I'm using Camtasia as my video software. This is on the 2018 reference device. Let me just zoom in. Oh, that's too far. Let me try and tell you what I'm talking about. I guess what I had before was easier. 25% by 25 Something like that. Okay, we'll just do it this way. So on my left, I have the 2017 reference device, which is one of our testing devices that we use. I think it's an Acer laptop, sort of. You can get it on Amazon, but it's going to be running Firefox 72, and then this one is starting up Firefox 81, and both of them are starting a profile. They're pre-existing user profiles that have sessions that have a couple of dozen tabs in them. So that's the thing to keep in mind. The other thing is that both of them are pre-existing profiles. This isn't the first time that the browser is starting up. Imagine you're a user of Firefox before, and you're just restoring a previous session automatically. That's what we're testing here, and I've lined up the two recordings so that they start at the same time. I found the first frame where we initialize. And so now I'm going to hit play and you can see the comparison. So remember, 72 on the left, 81 on the right. So definitely on the right, we get to painting faster. Let's do that again. We get to painting about that first page much faster. And if we kind of frame through, you can see that we get to a lot faster. Like they both get to the first blank at about the same time. Like they both show okay, roughly equivalent times to getting to that first white frame. But then the newer version, 81, gets to the first paint of the browser UI faster. Older browser, there's actually 2 frames there. If I'm going to zoom in, actually, maybe you can see this. How do I pan around? That's zoomed in too much. Let's maximize this window. So I'm going to frame forward and frame backward. I've got a little piece of the 81 version on the right, and that's good because I want to sort of compare and contrast here. So notice, I'm going to track back a couple frames. The first frame of the 81 already has all the icons rendered, and we've got the text rendered. You see that? Like we've got, I don't know, hopefully you can see that. I'm going to zoom in further. We've got everything here. We've got the text, we've got the icons. We're all ready to go. And we're still painting white on 79 or whatever the version was. 72, sorry, 72. Now let's track forward again. Let me zoom out further. Sorry, I didn't really prepare this presentation. And now I'm going to track forward a couple frames. Finally, we get the first frame of the browser UI showing up on the left. And even then, we don't have all of the icons. We've got some shapes, we've got the fonts, but we don't have the icons yet. They show up in the next frame, so they're a bit behind. And then there's like this big lag before, notice on the right side, we've started to restore the tabs from the previous session already. And we even get their fav icons to show up. On the left side, we resize the window. It kind of glitches out. We resize the window, then we restore the tabs, and then we bring the window back, and then eventually we get the fav icons to show up. And then there's this big delay while we load the page. We start doing the network traffic. We're reading the page. This one finishes rendering a significant amount of time before this one does. That's like almost a second, I'd say. And that's by tracking through frame by frame. If we zoom out again and look at it side by side, let's do it again. It's not exactly a second, but it's a significant amount of time. We're talking about at least 100 milliseconds, probably more. And I could measure it out if we really wanted to, but I don't really want to. What I want to do instead, because this video is a great demonstration of, the improvements we've made to startup. The team's worked really hard, but we want to make it a little more concrete for our users. And one of the things that was suggested to me was maybe we can add timestamps along the bottom. So whenever we finally finish painting, we imagine this. Time is rolling along the bottom at the same time. And then see. Time like goes at the same time, and then we get to like the final frame, and then we stop the timer. And then you can see that this one keeps going. Now, it's a little complicated. There doesn't appear to be some built-in way in Camtasia, which is the tool I'm using, to add some kind of like frame timer. And so what I want to do instead, I think, is I want to I'm getting so much traffic. Hold on a second. Something about B-frames not supported. Error message. Okay, so I don't think Air Mozilla 3 is going to work today. Too many error messages. Don't worry about it. It's a wash. But for YouTube and Twitch, this will hopefully work. So the way that we want to add frame counters, or one way I'm thinking about it, is by using FFmpeg, which is a sort of a Swiss Army knife video media tool. It's not just video. You can do audio as well. It's a tool that does a whole lot of stuff. It's not the most user-friendly tool. It's a command line tool, but I think we can use it to add some timestamps. Now, it's a little complicated because what we kind of want to do here, we need to make sure, oh, there's Wacky Morning DJ. We need to make sure that the start points are aligned so that it's a fair test, and that like the stopwatches start at the same time. And I had to do that manually, actually, whenever I was whenever I lined up these videos. I found the first frame where we started the load, and you can tell because the Windows cursor, the mouse cursor, starts to show the processing animation icon. So I lined those up manually, and I somehow need to convince FFmpeg to start the timer there, and I don't know how to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna okay, so it sounds like it's not going to work today. I've already started streaming. I guess this goes to show I should have done a quick test beforehand and made sure that... Okay, so I want to use FFmpeg, and someone's already given me a hint. One of the other people who were working on like similar tools, similar videos, they sent me this FFmpeg command. Let me find it. There. Let me paste it inside of a new Sublime text edit. So this is the command. You invoke FFmpeg. You say, I guess it's not through standard in. Instead, you're pulling something from a file, an MP4. I guess you're telling it the video codec to use, and then this is the part where you tell it what to draw. You're actually telling it, I want you to draw some text in each video frame, and like there's this like language in here where you're expressing what it is that you want. It's pretty strange. It's like a declarative language that I don't fully understand, and then the output is like the file that will be generated. Now, I don't actually know if you can do that for like a particular, like starting at a particular frame. So let's start looking at that first. FFmpeg, draw text at particular frame. Draw text on a range of frames. That's what we want to do. Has a draw expression that specifies that the text should be drawn. Okay, I found the answer on FFmpeg forum and got help by an FFmpeg dev. Both expressions work fine for me. Draw equals greater than times what? Draw equals if expression evaluation. So you can do like a little bit of math. You can say like, hey, if you're greater than a certain number of frames and less than some other number of frames. Okay. That might be helpful. So maybe we can re-express this as something like draw text equals Well, draw text, filter. Yeah, where are conditions? I'd love to see an example of conditions being used here. Conditions. If. Yeah. Draw text equals x equals all of this stuff equals maybe like if greater than, and then what was the command? If greater than, and then they said n. Where's this magic variable n coming from? I don't know. I'm going to say greater than n 500. And then do I have to like I don't even know if this is valid, this language. I don't even know what this means. VF filter probably. So like FFmpeg filter expression. Like I want condition if. Oh, this might be useful. Blend, but I want to do it with draw text. Oh, here we go. Draw text if. Show the text at a random position, switching to a new position every 30 seconds. So this is a wild new language, but thankfully this is using draw text. So let's undo everything I did. What we're going to say is draw text, and then you declare a bunch of stuff, I guess. And then when you get to the X part, hello world. I wonder if colon is like how they express the end of a line. And then X equals if equal mod such and such. If equal. You know what? I don't even think that's going to work, because ultimately what we're going to be rendering, even if we decide to only draw text at a particular frame, I think it's going to start drawing the actual frame that it starts on, regardless of whether or not we were showing or not showing. So what I might want to actually do is crop both videos to those points. Boy, that's annoying, but okay, let's try it. Let's try it. And then maybe we can use some Camtasia magic. So I've got my two recordings here. Let me zoom in. Maybe I can use this tool to crop and export. No, don't play it. Oh, this tool. Okay. What's the best way to find an individual frame? Is there like what are the controls? How do I frame forward? Or maybe I can just use Camtasia to do it instead of this tool, because I've already got them lined up. So what if I like split at playhead, split at playhead? Can I export this? Session restore cropped. What? Is it too long? Okay. Cropped. Is this even in an actual folder? Like, did I actually just do an export there? I don't think I did. I have a feeling it's just like a virtual representation. Oh, that's okay. So that's not gonna do it. So what I might need to do then is this. Can I just like export? I'll close this. Sorry, folks. I'm really bad at this. I'm gonna change the canvas so that it is whatever the half of that 1920 by 1080, and then I'll center that, and then I'm going to export this to a local file. Export the current selection. I'm going to call it this is the 80 Firefox. Oh man, okay. 2017 ref hardware Firefox 8102 session restore cropped. Let's see if that does what I expect it to do. We'll open it in VLC. And it looks like it did what I wanted it to do. Okay. Now let's see if we can add our timestamps to it, because maybe we've got ourselves a situation here. So it was this command, but I'm going to alter the command so that instead of taking input.mp4, it's going to take 2017 ref hardware cropped output. I'm going to say 2017 ref hardware cropped time stamped. So something just happened. Let's take a look. So it did create a file, and it does look like there's a timestamp along the bottom. VLC is putting something in the way, but let's do that again. Like, go away VLC title. Thank you. All right, we've got ourselves a little timer here. That's really handy. And now let's do it for the other video. So I'm gonna hide this one, lock it, unhide this one, bring it here. And we are gonna do the same thing where we're gonna export the selection to a local file. But this is 2017. This is 7202. You and I, whoever's watching this, hopefully you're enjoying this. We are learning together about Camtasia and FFmpeg. Okay, export complete. So now we're going to do that same command, but we're going to do it with the 7202 session restore. Cropped. And we're going to do the same thing with exporting to restore cropped. Time stamped. Go, 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 go. All right, so now that should also have a timestamp, which it looks like it does. I can just play it here inside the Finder. That's handy. Okay. Now we're going to line them up. So let's put them inside of here. I think I'm just going to hide both of these. I'm going to put this selection right at the beginning. Hopefully by doing this, I haven't like altered the characteristics of the videos. The time, I don't know how that could be possible, but anything's possible. They're both the same length now. But let's see. Which one's this? This is 8102. And this one, 7202. And now I'm going to redouble the hide 8102. We're going to put 7202 on the left. And we're going to put 8202 on the right. And let's hit play and see what happens. Okay, that's great. That's, I think, what we wanted. So what I'm going to do now, I think I can get rid of these. I don't need these. Oh, see daisy, didn't mean to get rid of that one. I can get rid of these. Don't need these anymore. So I learned, oh, I don't need a marker there either. And I'm just going to bring these down. And I don't need this marker either anymore, turns out. Good. Okay, so now I learned another thing about Camtasia while I was, kind of prepping for this, prepping to do these videos, is that you can extend frames, because this all kind of goes by pretty quick. Like if I just hit play, it zaps by in like 5 seconds. Like literally this video is 5 seconds long. It doesn't really give the viewer a whole lot of opportunity to think about what they're seeing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these forward a bit. I'm going to put the cursor at the beginning, at the first frame. And I learned this trick. You can hold down Option and extend the frame back. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Hold down Option and I can extend the frame back. So now it's like, yeah, it goes. Now, what I'm going to do, that's great. That's really handy because it gives us like a second of time to compare. And let's just double check whenever we start. Like the first frame, it's like, it's fair, right? Like did we do that right? Yeah. They both get the loading icon at the same time. Yes. Okay. This is a fair test. And now what I want to do is whenever this, on the right, when we finish loading, sorry, the right, not the left, on the right, when we finish loading, which happens, I'd say about here. I think that's the last frame. I guess it's like whenever the status bar finally goes away. That's probably when we want to stop. It's right here. Let me just double check. We'll hit play and just, oh, there's a little bit more going on in the URL bar there, because it the toolbar. There's like a little animation happening. The stop button. So we'll use that as our end point when that animation ends, which is when. Okay, right here. Let's zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. Look at this stop reload animation. So it's going, we're going to go right to the end point, which is right, the opacity changes. It's like that's done. I have to just find the last frame of change. That is the last frame. Okay. So this is going to be our end point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the video here at this frame, split it playhead, and then I'm going to do that same trick where I extend the frame. Whoop. No, go back. And we're going to extend it for like a couple seconds. Maybe we'll make this video 10 seconds long in total. So now if we zoom out and we show this again, we should see whenever we're done on the right, yeah, the time stops. And we want to do the same thing on the left when we find its last frame, which we now have to find. So we're going to hide that, and we're going to find the last frame. There it is. It's not a huge difference, but it is a sufficiently, like, we worked hard on that. So, you know, ease off. Yeah, it's not a huge difference, but it's a difference. All right, let's zoom out. Let's take a quick peek. Yeah, we saved like 300 milliseconds. Now, we could actually even be more aggressive because, like, yes, the stop reload animation didn't complete until I think what was it, on the right side? Stop reload animation we used as our endpoint. But we could actually, you know, for the user's perspective, the thing that matters is the page being ready. Now that I think about it, I wonder if we should use this right here as our endpoint when the page appears to be ready. Is there any? Yeah, there's like one little bump there of the font as the font loads. So I'm thinking maybe we use that instead. So let me readjust. I'm going to undo a bunch of stuff. Undo. We're going to use this frame in video 1. And then we're going to stretch this out. To 10 seconds. Okay. And now we're going to find the end point in video 2. I think it was there. That's it. That font loads. It's still not, it's like it's a similar amount of difference, but I think it kind of highlights more about what the user cares about, which is the page loading, as opposed to the icons updating. So now let's watch this together. Yeah. I think that'll do. Now, we're maybe a little too long there, long in that hold. Let's watch them again. Let's have it stop after 8 seconds. So we'll crop it here at 8 seconds. And that, I think, is our video. Let's watch it one more time. Yeah. Okay, that's what I'm going to share with the people who wanted that. So local file. This is, what do I want to call this? 2017 ref hardware Firefox 7202 versus Firefox, I guess, versus 8102 session restore. Go. And I'll upload that to the people who wanted that. Let me actually give that to them right now. Reveal in Finder. All right. That was the first thing I wanted to do. The second thing I wanted to do was I'm working on this patch to make it easier for us, speaking of performance, to annotate parts of our browser code so that we know when certain user interactions occur, so that when our hang reporter runs and collects like stacks of like, oh, we're hanging here, if the user was in the middle of a user interaction, we can like know about it. And let's take a quick peek on how that's going. So I've got my patch. Pump up the font. And the first thing I wanted to do, I was in the middle of like dealing with some review feedback, and let's see, where was the review feedback? If we go to the bug, I think we can close these now. We go to the bug. I had some review feedback on this last patch. First thing was like, hey, we want to make it so that if you accidentally clobber a pre-existing user interaction, we want to know about it. And then the second thing, is I think it'd be interesting. It's actually important to be able to know whether or not a user interaction is running so that we can cancel them if need be. Otherwise, we get errors thrown. And I know that because when I push this to try, with a user interaction for tab switching, I saw a whole bunch of test failures over here, and that's because there are certain user interactions that are asynchronous. For example, opening up a tab that animates is an asynchronous operation. We go back to the event loop while the tab animates open. And if we cancel opening that tab, we need to know whether or not the user interaction was running, and if it was, we need to stop it. Right. So, how do I want to do that? Well, the first thing I'm doing is I'm adding a, oh, no, that's not the right file, interaction.webidl. I'm adding a running method to the API. I have to clean up this file a little bit, but I'm adding a running method, so will allow you to know, like, do I have one of these things running, so that you can make decisions dynamically whether or not it's time to cancel them or something. Sorry, I'm getting spoken at. People like the video. Well, that's good. And then the other one is I need to respond to some other things. Respond to people. 3 p.m. Okay, I will respond to that later. So running. Now, here's the thing. I wrote some unit tests for all of this user interaction stuff, and those tests are failing. And I don't know why yet. And that's what I'm hoping we can look at right now. Telemetry test unit test user interaction.js. If I run this, I believe it currently fails. Hold on, gotta spin up the gecko. Yeah, currently fails, and it fails on line, apparently on line 43. Line 43, which is test user interaction.js right here. And that's whenever we're checking to see whether or not a thing is not running. We expect it to not be running. And we're failing this. Interesting. That's weird. Because if it's not running, and we are sure it's not running, then you shouldn't be able to finish it. So what's gone wrong? Let's go to stopwatch, where the user interaction stuff is implemented. And we're going to say finish user interaction. Here's the code that runs. And we expect them to return false right here. If it's returning true, it must be falling through here. Let's double check. Printf returning finish UI true for, we're using this name. And then we're gonna do that conversion, and we'll build this, and we'll see if we can figure out what's going on here. Wow, getting lots of notifications. I'm gonna put myself into away mode. I'm currently away. How do I do that again? How do I say I'm away? Here we go. I'm currently away. Or, ooh, even better, I can pause notifications. Pause notifications for 1 hour. Done. Okay, let's rerun this test. Returning finish UI true for testing interaction. For some reason, it was still running, which is really bizarre because we expect that. Oh, wait. Start. Then we check to see if it's running. And then we said start again. Did I recently change it so that we don't cancel if they're already running? Export. Okay, I need to put this away. What's happening here? Pause notifications. Disable audible notifications. Okay. So why would that be failing? Oh, you know what? I wonder if it's because the work of actually checking to see if it's running is actually adding the annotation. I think that's what's happening. We're actually adding the timer when we're running. So we're bugged here. This is not correct. Timer, get and delete. No. And create is true. So I actually want to say create is false for get, I think. Timer, pass it a bunch of stuff. I want to say don't actually create it. I think that was my problem. Running user interaction, I want to say false. Create. Run this test. All right, good. Everything passed. So that was correct. We were accidentally creating the timer when we were checking to see if it was running. That's good. That's what I wanted. And the reason I want that is so that if we are if we're running the tab switch user interaction, or sorry, the tab opening animation user interaction, if we're running tab opening user interaction at the time where the tab is being closed, then we should cancel that user interaction. We should get rid of it. So let's see here. What we're going to do is I'm going to update this to use a similar documentation. Stop telemetry stopwatch.webidl running. We're going to copy this. We're going to crib it, and we're going to reuse it. Returns whether a user interaction is currently running. It's currently running. User interaction timer. Do we use the word timer in here? Yeah. The timer can be, I think that's all we need to say. Param ID. The interaction being recorded as declared to check. The interaction to check. The ID of the interaction to check. As declared in user interactions .yaml. Optional parameter which associates the timer with the given object. True if the timer exists and is currently running. Okay. I think that will do it. That'll give us our... Oh, live hack says... Oh, couldn't get streamed through YouTube or Air Mozilla, only Twitch is live. Oh no. Oh no, repeater. So, apparently YouTube isn't working right now, which is bizarre because I was certain I was actually... Thank you, Stephen McLeod, for telling me. Change dashboard. It says I'm live. It says I'm live. What's going wrong? Do I have like the... Do I have the wrong link? My channel. Videos. Is it hidden? I'll bet you that's what the problem is. It's hidden. Oh, I forgot to list it. Oh, what a fool I am. A perfect fool. Thank you, S. McLeod. I forgot to put this in the listed group. Oh, man. Well, the good news is that we know that the repeater works for YouTube. It's just that I forgot to list the video. Well, okay. Error Mozilla is a known issue. Unfortunately, just realized that I didn't list the YouTube video facepalm. So yeah, Twitch only today. Sorry. Sorry, folks. Let's see here. I've got it running. Let's amend this commit. Because I'm going to update the commit message. And while we're waiting for that, then the next step is to use that running running check later. Add running method to user interaction. Oh, I forgot. I need to also add documentation for it. Interaction.rst. Start, update, cancel running. Start, update, cancel. We're going to add running. Running returns true if a user interaction is already running. So it's like checks to see if a user interaction is already running. There we go. And we're going to amend that again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use that new method inside of tabs, our tabs code. So we're going to rebase the first. Oh, what the? Oh, I see. Sorry. I was like, where did this commit come from? It turns out this is the obsolete one that I just amended. And the only reason it's still around is because there was another change set based on it. Now that I've rebased that change set, that amended change set will no longer be in the graph. Yeah, right, here we go. That is what is expected. So now I will update to tip and rebuild. And then we can use running to properly finish the user interaction if need be. Just linking. What are you linking about? All right. Let's rerun the test just in case. I don't think anything's changed, but we're just, belt and suspenders time. Then I'll demonstrate the failing test. Okay, that's good. Well, I'll demonstrate the failing tab switch test. You can just pick any one. Like there's just so many that are failing. I think I'll just pick bookmark all tabs, for example. If I run this, I don't even need to spawn the browser. I run it headless. This should fail. Good. Okay, it fails because the user interaction browser tabs opening. Oh, wait a second. If we're already running one, we're in the midst of running one already. That's the problem. It was already initialized. Was already initialized and then was not initialized. That's the thing, because like you can open up a whole bunch of different tabs all at the same time. So how do we deal with this inside of testing for the telemetry stopwatch stuff? the way we do it is if it's not already running, then we start them. User interaction. So I think we can use the same sort of mechanism. If user interaction, if not running, then we'll do that. Then we'll start it. In this case, we will already know that we've started one, so updating is fine. And then it's finish, where the finish is. Where's finish? I think it's actually in tab browser, tabs.js. Remove or end user interaction dot finish here. If it's running, finish it. And the other situation is if the tab starts to be removed before begin remove tab, is if user interaction is running, then we will finish it. Okay, let's run that test again and see what it thinks. Okay, it likes it. Now I'm gonna update htdiff. I'm gonna update this revision, this most recent revision. I'm gonna push to try. Amend. But before I push to try, I want to do one more thing. So one of the pieces of review feedback I got is related. Excuse me, I think I'm losing my voice here. Is related to the possibility that two user interactions of the same type will start one after the other. And it's possible, now that I think about it, that we'll want to catch this, and that's something that I think that one of my reviewers mentioned. And so the idea is whenever you start a pre-existing timer for user interaction, start user interaction. The idea is that we should, instead of deleting the user interaction, we'll update it so that it includes information about how it was clobbered somehow. I'm trying to think what the best way of doing that is. Was already initialized. So what we do is we delete instead of making this an else. we'll delete it. We'll say like bool clobbering equals false equals timer dot started. If clobbering actually, I don't know if we need to do that. I don't know if we need a clobbering variable. What we could do is we set the BHR annotation value. What's the right way to do it in the value? Like we could concatenate the name with like the word clobbered. Delete. And then we'll get another one. Timer equals and then we'll say like clobber text equals a name, and then we'll append clobbered to it, and then we'll set the BHR annotation to that. Clobber text. And then set the value. Let's see what that does. Can we even build that? It might hate this. I might have all my string types all wrong. And after this, if we can get this working, I think I'm gonna end the stream there because I'm starting to. I can tell I'm out of practice. My voice is starting to go. No match because a name is an A string, so not a C string. So I shouldn't use auto C string, just use auto string. So let's try that instead. C string is UTF-8 encoded char star. Auto string is char 16. It's a UTF-16. Use of undeclared identifier marker text, of course, because this should be clobber text. Scooby dooby doop doop dooby doo. Oh, what else do you not like? Oh, because it wants char 16t on top of it. Append. What's the best way to do that? There was recently something about like ways of doing strings like that. Or was it? I was recently mail about doing strings in a particular way. Ugh, I have to remember how to do this. String. This happened really recently. You know what? There might actually be something about this in the log for this, because oh man, maybe there's something inside the, is it L? Is it L? I think there's a special way we're supposed to do this right now. It's not, I don't know, it's L. Why 16, char 16? Because it's coming from JavaScript land. Like the call comes from JavaScript land. Strings that come in from JavaScript land are all UTF-16. Let's see, string. So app version, file operations. No. Maybe it's supposed to be char or ns underscore ns. Yeah, here we go. Replace all uses with ns literals. So it's something to do with this. I'm trying to remember how this works. Ugh. There's like a dev platform thing about NS. Changes to string literals. U bar underscore NS. So I think it's supposed to be instead clobber, instead of clobbered like that, it'd be U NS somehow. Somehow that makes sense. Let's see if it likes it. Will it compile? Tune in next time on The Joy of Coding. Yeah, it's compiling. That's incredible. It's my first time using the new string literal form. It's, I don't know, like this is really kind of awkward for me, but maybe this is what modern C++ is supposed to be like now. I don't get it, but okay. So that works. Now I'll bet you our tests that we had before fail, the user interaction ones, because those assume that you can't clobber. That'll just return false, so this will probably fail. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to update these tests, but I'm going to do that, I think, on my own time. I think I'm gonna end the stream here. Hey, thank you so much for watching The Joy of Coding, episode 228. I realize it did not exactly go according to plan because it didn't stream properly to YouTube. Well, it did stream properly to YouTube. I just didn't publish it. And it didn't stream properly to Air Mozilla. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on there. But if you're watching this on Twitch, congratulations. Redundancy and diversity in streaming platforms helps. We did it. Let me know what you thought of this episode. There is a form that you can fill out right here. I read everything that comes in. So do fill out the form. Let me know what you thought. Smash that subscribe, like, follow button stuff. You know, help me help you. Hey. All right. With that, I think we're going to cap it. So I'm going to switch to this. and say take care. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. See ya.